Hunter x Hunter is one of the most popular mangas in the world. Created by Yoshihiro Togashi, it starts off as a typical shonen adventure that slowly descends further into deeper themes and character exploration as it progresses. While it is one of the poster childs for the manga hiatuses due to Togashi's widely publicized health issues, it's still trucking along with new chapters being published to this day. The series has a dedicated fan following, and as such, it received 2 anime adaptations. The more popular of the two is Madhouse's 2011 anime that ran for 4 years with well over 100 episodes, but the first one was a much slower paced 62 episode run from 1999, with a lot more filler and slow pacing to pad up the story. 1999 is very much a dated product of how anime adaptations were dealt with at the time, but it still has a lot of pretty still animation to look at. Now let me introduce the Punch Girl enthusiast known as Wooly Madden, online alias being Wooly Versus. He's a streamer, let's player, and podcaster who may not be the most popular man in the YouTube sphere, but still has a long-lasting legacy in various corners of online fandom. As for how this relates to Hunter x Hunter, well, we gotta go back to Wooly's early days when he was a part of the former Zaibatsu known as the Super Best Friends. On one fateful day, sometime in 2015 on their flagship podcast, one of the co-hosts mentioned and talked about the 2011 series, which caused Wooly to say some awfully mean things about Hunter x Hunter as a whole as he experienced the 1999 anime back in college. Wooly thought that anime was sluggishly paced and generic shonen slap, with one of the major critiques being how unclear the missions of the titular hunters were. It's simple podcasting stuff, say some inflammatory things about a beloved piece of media, get discussion running among the community about how right or wrong the person is, everyone eventually moves on with their lives and forgets it all happened a week later. However, not everyone did move on from those mean things Wooly said. John Walsh is a comedically handsome Irish pal who's just like you and me. They love video games, movies, horror, and so much other media, including videos made on the internet like those of Wooly's. When John heard those mean words said by Wooly about one of his favorite series, thinking about was the 2011 series as opposed to the 1999 one, as apparently nobody clarified which series they were talking about, John was influenced to finally take a step into making internet analysis videos. They would use this format to express their love for various media, starting with Hunter x Hunter. They didn't make it a snippy response video to Wooly, just a simple analysis on why they liked Hunter x Hunter, and thus birthing the YouTube channel known as Super Eye Patch Wolf. Arguably, if you know YouTube analysis videos, you know about the Super Eye Patch Wolf channel. Love them or hate them, it's one of the most popular channels in that subgenre, long surpassing the people who influenced them in terms of growth and success. Of course, like in any creative field, you start to network with other creators in the sphere, so eventually the Canadian Wooly and the Irish John became good friends and nurtured a seemingly healthy relationship between them. But what if that didn't happen? Humans are flawed beings, and with flaws can come mistakes. Cringe mistakes. Life-ruining mistakes. What if John let that distaste for Wooly's opinions linger and never let it go? What if John forced Wooly to watch Hunter x Hunter with them? GON in 60 Seconds is a web show that features a pun on the movie title Gone in 60 Seconds, but replaced the typical spelling of Gone with the name of the protagonist of Hunter x Hunter, Gon. This used a similar format to Wooly's Gun to Your Head vlogs, but instead of Wooly badgering people about Naruto things, John meets up with Wooly and watches some Hunter x Hunter to get to his opinions and thoughts in 60 seconds time. Season 1 has 4 videos and is quite simplistic, but charming. Just 2 friends hanging out, being goofy, eating chicken wings, watching some anime, giving opinions. It's a vibe. However, when we head into Season 2, lasting from episodes 5 to 9, things get a bit more out there and ambitious. Subtitled John Ruins Magfest, Season 2 takes place at the Magfest convention as opposed to Wooly's house, adding convention blog to the genre blend of this video series. Wooly is still giving his opinions on the episodes he watches, but instead of the couch, we're in so many different places. We got hotel rooms, sandwich eating tables, and emotional talkabouts outside. Wooly gets more and more fed up with John's shenanigans as John becomes more of a dark caricature of what they could have been in real life with each passing episode. As the story gets more formed and the dialogue more exaggerated, it's clear the character John is playing here is very much like those toxic parasocial fans of YouTubers, especially media analysis guys. These people are always asking, hey Mr. YouTuber, when are you gonna watch a mediocre animated movie you have no interest in but I personally love? It's fine to love it yourself without validation, but these people live on validation of the thing they love. That's the mentality John's character is right now, and Season 3 has John going even further down this dark path. Wooly is in the middle of nowhere in Ireland, and John decides to keep pushing Hunter x Hunter on him even in the most inappropriate of times. Eventually, the duo end up in Eye Patch Wolf's house where they watch more episodes, but when Wooly goes to sleep, John tries to take off his wedding ring, which can imply a lot. I personally view it as John wanting Wooly to fully commit himself to Hunter x Hunter, as wedding rings are often a sign of commitment, so getting rid of it would imply that commitment is lost. Luckily for our boy Wooly, he escapes Ireland, which leads us to the final season, the return to Magfest. Wooly deals with the trauma of last season as all his friends start to mysteriously get into Hunter x Hunter. Despite the sinister intentions around this subplot, Wooly still gives his quick opinions on the episodes in every video, but by this point, the main draw of GON in 60 seconds isn't the review portions, but the exploration about how a relationship that starts from parasocial investment can go south without the proper setting of boundaries. The 19th episode of the series is a perfect distillation of these themes, as Wooly and John have a heart-to-heart about the events of the series, seemingly coming to a mutual understanding about John's mistakes and passion, with Wooly setting his boundaries firmly after all the shit John did. However, GON in 60 seconds doesn't end happily, as John ultimately gets what they wanted out of Wooly, turning him into a mindless hype man for Hunter x Hunter in exchange for everything that made Wooly personally unique, the things they used to like about Wooly from the podcast and videos disappear. And that's how GON in 60 seconds ends! Yes, it's ultimately a silly YouTube horror series, but it still stands out from its contemporaries, not just because of the names attached to it or the quirky subject matter, but from the series' execution. It taps into very real fears and feelings people in this day and age have experienced relating to the line between an unhealthy parasocial relationship and genuine friendship. And that's all super fascinating to me, especially as the duo let the series end and moved on to new projects like the competitive podcasting series Versus Wolves, one of my favorite things being put on YouTube currently. Basically, the moral of the story is, I like when John does things, I like when Wooly does things, but together they make peak fiction.